And there will come a time when those who will be closest in love and affection for you will be those who say, we are Christians. My gosh, these are the people who are closest in love and affection for us, and we say to them, we can't be friends. What nonsense is this? It seems as though we made a mistake in translating and understanding that verse because we did not use the proper methodology. When we use the proper methodology, and this book of Gog and Magog helps you now, look at what you get. O you who have faith in Allah, do not take such Jews, not all Jews. If a Jew opposes the oppression of the state of Israel, and a Jew sympathizes and assists the oppressed Palestinians to try to get out of oppression, that man is your brother, that man is your friend, that man is your ally. How can you be so stupid to throw him out of the window? Huh? Do not take such Jews and such Christians as your friends and allies, who themselves are friends and allies of each other. Oh, but Christians and Jews were never friends and allies of each other. The Christians accused the Jews of the ultimate crime of killing God himself. Can't do worse than that, eh? The Qur'an is saying that the time is going to come. Akhiru Zaman. Akhiru Zaman. The end time. When there's going to be a mysterious reconciliation between part of the Christian world and part of the Jewish world. And as a consequence of that reconciliation, a Jewish-Christian friendship and a Jewish-Christian alliance is going to emerge. We could not see that 1400 years ago. We could understand the verse now. Has that alliance emerged? Oh yes, it has. What is the glue that is bonding it together? Zionism. It is a Jewish-Christian Zionist alliance which gave us the monetary system that in which we are now all imprisoned. And Allah prohibited us from entering that. It is the Jewish-Christian Zionist alliance that gave us the political system that we now have with the secular state, with the United Nations and the Security Council and all of this. And Allah prohibited us from entering into that. What is Allah going to do with us? Huh? We can't even understand the Quran, much less to follow it. That Jewish-Christian alliance has emerged. It's a Zionist alliance. And the Quran is explaining to you the reality of the world in which you now live today. Do not be friends and allies of these people. You think Parvez Musharraf cares about this? You think Husni Mubarak cares about this? Let me not call any more names, I might get into trouble. They don't care at all about the Quran. Politicians worship a political God. Politicians don't really care about the Quran. No. Now let's turn to the next one. And in Allah la yahdil qawma adh-dhalimin. The trademark of that alliance is zulm. It's zulm. Okay? Let's go to the other verse. Two more, we'll be finished. Bear with me for a little while. وَلَنْ تَرْضَى عَنْكَ الْيَهُودَ وَلَا النَّصَارَ حَتَّى تَتَّبِيَ مِلَّتَهُمْ. And the Jews and the Christians will never be contented until they get you to follow their way of life and their religion. Is this true of all Jews and all Christians? It was never true. For 1,000 years Jews lived amongst us. The last golden age age of Jewish civilization was in Muslim Spain. But the Jews never behaved like that, doing everything and using every trick in the book to get us to follow their religion and their way of life. No. The Qur'an is not speaking of all Jews and not speaking of all Christians when it says the Jews and Christians will never be contented, never be happy until they get you to follow their way of life and their religion. The Qur'an is speaking about some Jews and some Christians who exhibit a similar behavior. And who, one of the possible meanings of this verse is who have a common religion, a common millah, and that is the Zionist Jewish-Christian Alliance. The Zionist Jewish-Christian Alliance does not want you to live the way of life of a Muslim. No. You can hold on to the thick skin of Islam, but they want to embrace you in their way of life. And if you refuse to it, then you become a terrorist. This is what the Qur'an is talking about. And now one last verse before we end. In Surah Al-Anbiya, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about a town. He destroyed a town. He expelled the people of the town. He then placed a ban on them that they could never return to that town to reclaim it as their own. Until two things happened. Number one, that the barrier built by Zulkarnain, Allah brings it down and Gog and Magog are released. And number two, after they are released, they spread out in all directions. And therefore, with their indestructible power, they take control of the world in the world order of Gog and Magog. Then you'll see the people of this town being brought back to the town. Which town is it? وَحَرَامٌ عَلَى قَرْيَةٍ أَهْلَكْنَاهَا أَنَّهُمْ لَا يَرْجِعُونَ حَتَّى إِذَا فُتِحَتْ يَأْجُوجُ وَمَأْجُوجُ وَهُمْ مِنْ كُلِّ حَدَبٍ يَنْسِلُونَ. If you go to the tafasir of the Qur'an, all the classical tafasir, all, they're guessing as to which town is it. This one mentions this town, and that one mentions that town, and that one mentions that town. And some don't even mention it, don't say any town. But when you use the methodology, the proper methodology, it becomes as plain, as clear as daylight. The town is Jerusalem. The town is Jerusalem. And there's concrete evidence to support. Look at all the ahadith on Gog and Magog. Is there any ahadith which links Gog and Magog with any town? Yes, it does. There's a hadith which links Gog and Magog with Beit al-Maqdis, which is Jerusalem. So there's concrete evidence to support the conclusion that we arrive at from our analysis of the data. Allah is speaking about Jerusalem. He destroyed Jerusalem. He expelled Banu Israel. He placed a ban on them for 2,000 years. They could never return to reclaim that town as their own. But when Akhiru Zaman comes, when the last stage of Akhiru Zaman comes, what is called the countdown, then you will see Banu Israel being brought back to the Holy Land. And a state of Israel being restored in the Holy Land. Who is responsible for that? Answer, Gog and Magog. So those who today control the world with their indestructible power